Well, it is time. I need to get my phone. It is, well, it's a Friday night, I think. No, it's a Saturday morning now. I got here Friday at what time did I get here? About 9:45 I got here. Friday the 13th. It's now Saturday the 14th. High tide is at 4:30. When the cod is in, you have to make sure that you get here in plenty time to make sure you get a bait. I think I was the second person here, and 2 people drove past, 1 left or went somewhere else. There's 1 fishing down there, some more turned up, so the bay soon go. So anyhow, I picked 28. If you've seen my videos before, I blanked in the last, but in the one previous to that I actually caught fantastic codling. And that was in bait 27, and I was humming and hawing between 27 or 28, and I ended up going in 28, my favourite. I thought, if it's free, why not go in it? Fish tend to go for fresh bait, don't they? They don't tend to go for the surroundings on the Humber, so that's about it. I've only just got my rod out really, and I'm getting settled in. I've casted out first bait, and I've got a light, I've got my camera now, van's locked. Yeah, I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning, and high tide's at 4:30 in the morning, Saturday morning. I just figured if I fished it, one, it's in the dark, this high tide anyhow, it's in the dark, it's better for the cod, isn't it, or any fish, and hopefully I'll get a position on the wall, because in the last video, you know, I was driving around between here at Stally and East Halton. I just couldn't get a bay, at all, and then when I came back to him at Stally, someone was just leaving out of bay 23, and I just snicked in there, and I had about 1.25 hours fishing, which was a waste of time really, but it was nice. It broke the day up, and a wetter line. So today, planned better. I've now realised that I can't make a tide when it's when I leave off work, and I've only got like 4 hours once I've loaded the van up. That's not enough time. So anyhow, I shall be back in a bit when I've climbed over this wall. Noise travels at night, and I don't really know if the chap down in 27 will be able to hear me or not, but if he does, doesn't he? You can't worry about it. Anyhow, I'm over and on the over the wall now. Tide's coming in. It's probably about 2.5 meters, 3 meters away from the raised up bit where the rocks are, so it's got to come in another 3 meters before it starts coming up before it floods what I'm stood on now. So I've got probably about 2 hours. It's 2:20 now. By 2 o'clock I'm going to be up the top, set my other rod up, get it ready to cast, and then I shall get the pan on and get something cooked up for myself. I think probably have a pot noodle, and I'll then come down and retrieve this rod that's here now, and fish from up top, and then high tide's at 4:30, come 6:30, I'll be having to reel in, or I'll be getting snagged. So I think about 6:30, 7 o'clock, because it is a 7.4 meter tide tonight. so by at least 7 o'clock I'll probably be back over the side there fishing it going down. Gonna give it a good old go and see what happened. I've got food with me so I can have some scram in the morning. Fishing my Shakespeare agility rods again, rods that I use for the river as always, coupled up with a Penn spin fisher, long cast reels. So that's the gear I'm using. I've got at the minute I've got a 1 up 1 down rig, what I caught my £5 cod on. That's an estimate in weight from the 60 centimeters that it measured. I went onto some site that actually tells you roughly what it weighs, and it was just under £5. So yeah, bait I'm using, I've got some oil black lug and tipped off with some prawn. So it did well last time when I fished Bay 27, so that's what I'm using at the minute. I've got some crab also with me today, but I shall use the crab when it's high water, and I'm fishing from up the top. I can get a couple of rigs set up, rigged up with a crab on, and I'll tip it with some I'll do a cocktail bait with probably prawn or squid. Thing is with the crab, that crab is absolutely fantastic, but because it's hard to get hold of, don't like to use it, and I brought it with me to use, but obviously when I caught that codlin, it was a case of I was using prawn and I didn't want to swap baits, didn't want to swap and risk not catching any more, so I didn't use it. And I took it out the next time when I was in Bay 23, and when I brought it back you could see that some of the fluids had come out of the crab, whereas before it was perfect and you'd have just cut it and then bound it on and it would have been really good. They're now not as good and showing a little bit worse for wear, so I am going to be using them tonight. So they're gone. I've only used crab once or twice before. You've seen it in my videos, they were velvet swimming crabs. Bit of tide pull on, but we've got the big tides now, so whereas during the week and the end of last week they were neap tides, they're now springs. Well, if they aren't springs, they're bloody big tides, 7.4 metres. It's getting up there, isn't it? So yeah, that's the bait I'm using. That's the rig. I'm going to use a pulley pennel rig. I'm going to try one of my shorter versions that I've tied to see what they're like. And that's what I'm going to put the crab and squid on. So yeah, I think I'll watch these rods now and see if we've had any bites I've missed. I'd like to thank people that have put comments on my videos. All the comments are fantastic, and ranging from comical to advice and to appreciation, and basically all the comments are appreciative. Would like to say thank you very much for your kind comments. It's always look forward to answering the comments, so yeah, thank you very much. In the last video I think I said to you that I'd put on 80 subscribers. It was in relation to Sutton-on-Sea, where I caught the dabs and going up the cliff. Thank you to everyone that subscribed and leave a comment, and if you would be so kind, share the videos, that's all. Yeah, so yeah, if you like them, subscribe. Thank you very much. got bait on anyhow. We'll still fish. This looks like main rock. Right, well that's all the weed picked off, so I find that a lot easier. I managed to reel it all in, well, the weed passed through all my eyes, and just pick it off your reel. Yes, I've been out of the water for a while, but who cares? Done 2 reasonable casts, we're going to do a short one now. Well, got black lug, squid and prawn on both of those hooks. One up, one down, flapper. And we'll just see what happens. So we're mixing the baits up. When I go up top, I'll use the crab with prawn and crab with squid. I'll be back in a bit. I'm gonna go get my bucket. Well, I've just had a, I couldn't start the film up, the camera up, because I've just had a drama. I'm reeling in and I'm thinking, Christ, I've got a bloody fish on air. Huge fish on air. And what I've actually got is someone else's gear, as you can see there. So I had that on there, but that's not all, nope. Now I thought it was a codling, because that's what you want, isn't it? But what I've actually got is a bit of a little dab. So I'm gonna get him unhooked. And then I shall be back in a bit. I'm gonna just get this casted out, and let's leave that there, that there, that there. Right, get another rig on. Now that rig there, that should catch a dab. Oh no, it's I can't have that rig. I'm gonna have to untangle it, aren't I? Bloody hell. Bomber rig. Can't use a bomber rig out there. They're too small, too small. Ah! Yeah, that'll do. Right, let's see if we can get this undone without getting it tangled up into like a quagmire, a bloody mess, which I've just done again. Right. Wait. Right. What is it with bloody rigs? Put it away neat. Comes out like a bloody spaghetti junction. That's that one. Don't tie a knot in that, Vernon. Jesus Christ. Right. Got loads of weed round the reel. Right, bait. Need to turn this light on. Lights on everywhere I have. Baits are rare. So it's all gone to cock really, because I brought the rod up there, had a fish on it, sorted that out. All tangled up, weed as well. So I ain't got a bait in the water now, because I was then sorting that rod out. The tide's coming in really quick. So it's nothing's organised. I've just having to do what you got to do to get yourself back out there. Right, now then, I shall be back in a bit. Once I got this fish undone. I've unhooked the fish. I'm now going to get him out of the bucket. I went through his top gill, grabbed the line, pulled it through, pulled the hook, found the hook, and it come out the right side. Sometimes it don't come out the first side you go in the fish, and you have to pull it out and flip the fish around and do it again from underneath. That's why I have the bucket of water, so that if there's any problems that I've got to do that, I can pull it out, and before I go on the other side, chuck him back in the water and give him 2 or 3 minutes in the water to have a breather, and then I'll have a go from the underside. But first side I went in through his gills, got the line and the hook out, and he's been recovering for a couple of minutes now, maybe 5. So I'm now going to get him and chuck him back. quite a good sized dab, that. Look, there you go. So it's not a blank. So coming here tonight has been fantastic. I'd say it's probably about 20. Put him down there for a second. Quick measure. 27 centimetres. So I'm going to stick her back. Let her get a bit bigger. Nice and fat. There you go, she's returned okay. Right, now then. The tide's pulling quite a lot. I hope you saw that fish then. I didn't realise I had my light on. So yeah, the tide's pulling quite quickly. I cast it out over there and it's round there already. I've got to bait this hook. I'm not. Everything's gone wrong at the minute. Everything's gone right. Everything's gone right. It's just I'm not organised. I've got to move the van. So. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get that baited up, move the van, put my tripod where it needs to be, get that casted out and wind that one in because it's over there. So I'll be back in a bit. I think I'll leave that one a bit. Got to pull this one in now because it's going to get yanked over shortly. Come on. Right, I'm gonna have to walk down there and unsnag this. Well, I walked all the way down the towpath and give it a yank and reeled it in and got everything back. So thank God for that. Running out of 8-ounce weights, you see. It's been non-stop because of the tide pull. As soon as you cast it out at 2 o'clock, it's round at 9 o'clock. The pulley rig that I've got on there, I think ain't going to be any good because the tide is too strong and it's just twisting it up. So I'm going to have to change that, I think. The last rod that I've casted out, I think I've just said, but anyhow, the last rod that I've just cast out is now holding bottom. Didn't cast it out too far. This one I'm going to have to cast out a bit further for in case if it moves, it don't clatter into that rig. I've got this rig down there to sort out and get the weight off. I've got rigs, baits to bait up. So that I can do some different baits. Oh dear. The time is, Mally's just messaged me. You still fishing, mate? That was at 1:33. What's the time now? It's 2:41 now. It's 2:41 now. Yeah, so I've got my bait and needle. I want to use some of them crab baits. Whether I put it on that pulley rig or not, I don't know. I might be using a pulley dropper. Into a sod, you'll do 3 casts and they literally whip round like a Ferrari, yeah, and then you'll do another cast and it holds bottom. What's all that about? But the main thing is, we've caught a 27 centimetre dab. Beautiful little girl she was, and she was really fat. Now, I don't know what the measurement is for a dab. I'm sure you'll all be shouting at me now. 20 centimetre. 20 centimetre. You can take a dab at 20 centimetre. Absolute joke, innit? That was quite a big dab, that, wasn't it? 27. I'm sure it was 27, wasn't it? Well, anyhow, I think it was 27 centimetre. I'm sure it was. But I'll know when I look back at this video, won't I? So, for now, I'm claiming 27 centimetres. It had ever so long tail. Right, I'm going to let that line settle. I'm going to let it settle so that hopefully the weight will hit the bottom and then hold ground. This is the first time I've had 2 rods fishing together. It's been getting your gear up, catching the fish, sorting the fish out, casting out, whipping round, undoing, hooking the fish, getting the fish back, reeling the rod in, casting out the other one, cast the next one out, snag, have to walk all the way down. Bloody nightmare, but that's fishing, isn't it? Better than a crack off though, isn't it? Oh, we're holding bottom. It's been a long while since I've fished a strong tide, and I forgot that you cast out and let the bloody thing settle. Let it settle and then take the slack up. But then once it's settled, there's no slack to take up. So yeah, so anyhow, I'm gonna drink this coffee. I'm gonna do a couple of baits with some crab, listen to the radio, make up a couple of baits. Baits at the minute is squid, black lug and prawn. So that's what we're going for. Anyhow, I shall be back in a bit. There's no blanks, that's the main thing. Well, it's not cod, but at least I'm catching fish. Another little dab, smaller than the last one, but a dab. I think I just casted that too far. Right, well, I'll just get that unhooked and then I'll give you a show. It was perfectly lip hooked, that little dab. Smaller than the last dab, but that don't matter. She's in the bucket now, having a breather, get her breath back, and then I shall chuck her back in. It's raining. It's not meant to be raining. Didn't forecast rain. Just a little one this time. Perfect. Anyhow, let's get her back. Water's all gone down my bloody wrist now. Right, well, sit rep is the tide has changed. Time is 4:42. I cast that last rod out, which you saw me cast out. Didn't make a note of whether the tide had changed, had I? It had blown. Bloody hell. Within a few minutes it had gone right into where the rocks are. So what I've done is I've pulled it in. You can see it there. I've put a baited the top hook up because the top hook was missing. The bait was missing, so I've put a prawn on it. And I've casted the crab and squid wraps out to the left now, because obviously the tide is going out. We'll see if we hold bottom, but it's now raining, only lightly, so it's not a problem. But we shall see as the night moves on, the morning moves on, sorry. We'll see how it go. If the tide slowed down a bit, as it will do as the tide's going out, I should be able to fish 2 rods again, but it is pushing through that quick that it's been hard work with 2 rods. So probably best to fish 1 rod more efficiently than to keep having to reel in and chuck out and reel in and chuck out because your lines are crossing. Lines crossing don't really matter as long as you chuck one out sort of like shortish and one out obviously further than the shortish one, because then as the lines pass they go over one another, and all you got to do is swap your rods around on your rest. But it is now raining a lot harder. You must be able to see the rain anyhow, but it's raining a lot harder now. My hands are cold because I've been in the water. I shall sort out the back of the van so that I can get somewhere to sit. That's what I'm going to do. I'll be back in a bit. Right, well, it's gone 6 o'clock now, and yeah, back's getting cold now, and the action on the rods has slowed down totally. Quite surprised, really. I thought it'd be quite prolific. When I was there the other day and only fished an hour in the previous video, which was quite short, I was speaking to many people along there, and they were all pulling out cod, whiting, dabs, but 2 dabs. I'm pleased for 2 dabs because it's not a blank, and they were 2 lovely fish. But it's just been a little bit slow, but that's the way it is, isn't it? The 2 fishing trips back, I had 5 fish, didn't I? 2, 3, 4, 5 fish. Yeah, 5 fish, and 1 a personal best. So, you know, you can only... Hope that didn't mess the camera up. So you can only you can only fish the session that you're here, can't you? And whatever it is whatever it is. So. Yeah, it stopped raining anyhow, so small mercies, I suppose. I think if it was summertime and it was nice weather, I'd be a bit tight. I'd be tempted to stay, I think, but the thing is, I haven't blanked, have I? I've got another rig to chuck out. When I reel that rod in, I've got another rig to chuck out, so there's another cast yet. And I've still got some bait on the thing that I'm going to use. I've still got some bait to use, perhaps. I shall fish it for as long as I can from up here. I think if I'd caught another fish or a couple more fish on the tide going down, I would be tempted to jump over the side and fish it right out, but sometimes you have to cut your losses, don't you? It stopped raining now. It was forecast to rain at about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, it says on the Met Office, but obviously they got that wrong. But then if the wind blows a little bit quicker, that rain gets there sooner, doesn't it? So perhaps it's going to be dry for the rest of the day now. fish on there now. Bloody plastic in this flippin'. When that jammed, I walked it in. Oh. Look at that! Oh. Got ourselves another cod. Ones that keep getting caught up. What is the matter with this bloody thing? Right. Let me just get this unhooked. Well, here we go. We've got another dab. Got some black markings on it here, but it's a lovely little dab. We'll return him, he's recovered. But I'm afraid to say it, don't think the cod is doing very well. Yeah, I'm going to leave the codling in the bucket for a little bit, see what happens to him, but it's not looking good. I don't know why. I struggled a little bit to get the bloody I struggled a bit to get the hook out, but the hook hadn't gone anywhere bad. It was just in its mouth, but it had gone, the eye had gone past, but it hadn't gone through into its belly, you know. But once I got the great big lump of bait out of the way and I could see the hook, I got the hook out straight away. Never dropped it, straight out. It was in the water. I managed to lift it out of the water after you saw I'd got snagged up with that plastic. There's been quite a bit of plastic in this water tonight. It's the first time since March, I think, since I've had so much plastic. So that's not a good sign, but obviously people have been chucking it or dropped it, so yeah. Anyhow, I'll be back in a bit. It's a shame. It's a little fat bugger, look. One codling. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's not made it. He is floating upside down in there. I'm going to put him back in there, and if he decides that he's going to be okay, then he'll go back. He is. He's 33 centimetres, so he's undersized, but he's dead. I tried to bring him back, but what a beautiful fish. He's a right little fat bugger. Let's get him back in there and see what happens. Oh, it's a shame. I don't like it. I don't like it when that happens. You saw that I put back my 60 centimetre codling. I mean, I don't really want to take a fish up. Some people do. It's up to them, isn't it? And I might do as well at some point. But I'm not going to chuck him back. I'm going to take. If he's dead, I'm going to take him home. I'll either boil him up for the cats, so the cats can have some fish, or I'll take a couple of fillets off it and I'll just boil some potatoes and have some peas with her. But it's a shame. It's a shame. I didn't do anything. I didn't hoss it in extra quick to stress him out, because I could feel I had a fish on. But then I had them plastic bags stuck on my line. So what I did was, as soon as the bags hit the tip eye, I then walked back with it to get the fish over the rocks. And as soon as I felt them touch the side, I put the rod down, cleared the plastic, and then reeled them in. And the fish was all right. And you can see it isn't bleeding. So I haven't done any harm to its gills. I ain't done any harm to its stomach area, because the hook wasn't down there. At the back of the mouth of the cod, it's all closed up, so obviously it opens it, and when it shuts its mouth, it opens that up to swallow, I suppose. And the hook was in the bottom of its jaw, but down a bit. And I got the Gemini, once I got the bait out of the way, but I didn't have my glasses on, the Gemini clip kept getting caught on the line, tying itself in knots. So I put the fish in the water. You saw me put the fish in the water, and yeah, it's a shame. I then got my other Gemini one after I got the bait out of the way. You could see the hook, got it in, boom, fell into the water, and that was it. It just give up the ghost. I mean, it's a shame because that fish could grow into a big huge codling, couldn't it? And I've caught it, and it's life is premature, but I'm not going to waste it. It's going to be eaten. It's a bloody shame. I mean, that codling that was 60 centimetres that I caught 2 videos ago, I didn't even take that home with me. I would have done if the same thing happened with that, but that was fine. And as soon as I had got it unhooked and offered it up to me rod, I put it straight back and it just swam off. But there, these things happen, don't they? Before that winding, I had them knots on me rod, didn't I? And I pulled it in and there was nothing on it, but the bait had been attacked. That time there was a small movement, but I didn't think it was a bite. I just thought it was the tide. Well, it might have been that plastic. Well, it would have been that plastic. But still, let's not knock it. I've had 3 dabs and 1 codling. Yes, it's a shame the codling hasn't been returned to get bigger, but things go wrong, don't they? That'll be the last cast out there anyhow, because the tide is going out. Well, I'll be back in a bit. 4 fish, 3 returned, 1 has died. That don't happen very often. The last time that happened, I caught a little tiny flounder. Or a dab. I think it was a flounder, in fact. And it was so gut hooked, when I got home and cut its head off and took its guts out, the hook come out. And the hook was in its belly. So yeah, there was no return for that fish. So yeah, in all the time I've been fishing, that's 2 fish that I haven't been able to return. So not bad, I suppose, but good session. It's been a great night. Weather's been good, bit of rain, but it hasn't been too bad. And 4 fish. So I'll be back in a bit. It pinged up and then went bang into the bottom of the thing I've got, and then climbed down in the muddy stuff. I'll be back in a minute. I've been over, climbed down, bit slippery, yanked it out. Well, it wouldn't do it with a rod because you can lean the rod right out, but I've got it out. Well, I thought I had a fish on there because the arc on the rod was constant, and you could feel some weight on it, but it was the seaweed. Literally, with me climbing over and coming back, the water's dropped onto that shelf, off that shelf now. So if I was to stop, which I'm not, I would have to go over the side now and fish down below, and there would still be a chance for a fish. But I've had 4 fish. I've had 3 dabs and 1 codlin. It's 2 codlin this year. Well, no, I had a couple of codlin in February and March, didn't I? But this season, the start of this season, I've had 2 codlin already. Admittedly, one has passed away, but he'll not go to waste. He'll be eaten and celebrated in style. But I wouldn't ever take a fish that's undersized, as you know, and I wouldn't even take a fish that's oversized, to be honest. It would have to be a big fish for me to think, do you know what, I'm going to eat this one, because I probably then wouldn't eat it anyhow, because if I want a piece of cod, I'll just go to the chip shop. Yeah, if you got this far, I know I've already said it, I know I said I wouldn't, but thanks for subscribing. It's been a good session, and yeah, thanks for subscribing. Please carry on subscribing. Please don't unsubscribe, because that's not good. That's not good at all. Leave a comment, but yeah, next time we'll either be here or it'll be on the Lincolnshire coast. But whilst this COVID lockdown is on, even though you're allowed to go fishing, I'm not travelling across the river. I'm just going to keep it local to Lincolnshire, and that's what I'm going to do. But at this moment in time, there is a fair bit of fish coming out of this river, so this is probably the place to be, because come summertime, or if I come fishing here because I want to, I'll only get told there's nothing there, you're wasting your time. So I might as well come here now while there's fish in this river, and when all this shut down and whatever, and I go fishing off the beach, I can then try and pick a cod up then, can't I, from the beach. But I think that'll be on the Yorkshire coast, to be honest, because I don't think there's many codlin coming out on the Lincolnshire coast. I may be wrong, but I've spoken to a couple of people tonight and they said the odd one's coming out, but not like the river. So anyhow, I'll see you next time. It'll probably be at the river. I'll probably pick a different bay. I might do bay 27 if it's free, or I'll go down and do bay 18. But or I could do the woods. I haven't done one at the woods before, but I'm waffling on now. Thank you for watching. 4 fish, not a blank. We're in there, aren't we? I'm not doing this because that's a bit, you know, I ain't doing that. Anyhow, see you later. See, the water's just gone now. So if you cast to the left or right and it don't move, you got to then drag it through all this weed. So that's why you go over the side. Fish down below where I was earlier in the night. But yep, Bay 28 with Humber, with some bloody gret boats going in and out. Seagulls are Hungry? Yeah, he's not made it, I'm afraid. But it's a shame really, because give him another 6 months and he would have put on a few more centimetres, wouldn't he? Bless him. But there you go. I'm not a surgeon, but you can tell I didn't damage him. It's just no air bubbles coming out. Anyhow, sorry for that, but I always like to return them, you see, that's the problem. But it's not a problem, is it? It's just what I like to do. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.